Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of the Fishing Teacher, and really appreciate you guys coming by the channel to check the video out. I always appreciate that. And guys, today we're going to be talking about how bass get conditioned to a lure and what you can do about it and how you can sort of make some adjustments and keep catching fish once they get conditioned to lures. So we're going to get into that in today's video. Also guys, quick invitation, just like to invite everybody to please hit that subscribe button here to the Fishing Teacher. We're working really hard to try to hit that 20,000 subscriber mark. And also please check out, you've heard me talking about it, but all through the rest of the month of November, Tackle Warehouse has got a Black Friday sale, 20% off on about everything on the website. So I'll put the link in the description of the video if you guys want to use that link and get you some good deals and help the channel out. I really appreciate it. Okay, this is one of those things that it wasn't too common years and years ago because, like I said, there wasn't as much fishing pressure. But as fishing pressure increases and as certain lures get more popular, bass simply get conditioned to those lures. Because what happens is, like in today's world of social media and YouTube and, you know, the easy accessibility to information, if there's a hot lure out there, you can't hide it, because especially like in a tournament situation, you know, tournaments, a lot of the tournaments are filmed live now, so people can't keep things quiet, and, you know, it just, the information leaks out. And some of the most popular lures that have come along, the bass have really got conditioned to, excuse me, are things like Alabama rigs and the Whopper Plopper, baits that really telegraph themselves, and baits that people fish a lot. So bass aren't stupid. It's like, one of the things about that I have noticed about bass is they learn quickly. They fail quick and they learn quick. They don't make a lot of mistakes once they learn about it. And I don't really understand how they educate themselves, but it's sort of like some primal instinct that they have to do, that they pick up on certain lures if they get thrown too much. Now, some of those lures, how bass get conditioned to certain lures, a lot of it has to do with how much a lure telegraphs itself. So if you have a lure, again, like a Whopper Plopper that makes a really distinct sound, or something like a chatterbait that has a distinct vibration, something that either the bass, they can really, really hone in on as far as a noise or a color or a profile, they get conditioned to that really quickly. And other lures that are a little bit more subtle, like say for example a Senko gets fished a lot, but it still produces because it doesn't have anything that really telegraphs itself. It's a quiet lure, it's a subtle bait, so the bass can't really pick up on anything that they can, you know, remember or relate to. So that's another thing about it. So in other words, if you feel the bass have gotten conditioned to a lure and one of the baits that you're throwing is not working, one of the best things that you can do is change and go to a quiet bottom type lure. Now there's two things here we're going to talk about. One is the change to a quiet bottom lure that doesn't telegraph itself and doesn't give itself away. And the other with that I have found out is a color change. Now let me give you guys a prime example. You know what I'm talking about, how bass get conditioned to a color change. That I just got back from that Toyota Series Championship on Lake Wheeler last week, and I found this one real short stretch of rocky bank. And this thing was only like, I don't know, it was probably 50 feet long, maybe 75 foot long. But there was a lot of fish on it. They kept moving up and down on it. And so I kept making repeated passes, like I'd go up and down, up and down, up and down with the same lure, crankbait. And I was catching fish for the first couple passes, and then it died down. And what I did is I simply made a lure color change. I went from like I was throwing some type of a chartreuse blue and back, and I went to more of a subtle shad pattern, and I started catching fish simply because those fish were conditioned to that color of lure. There was a bright color coming past them every single time. So you can not only change colors, but you can also change lure profiles of the same type of lure. Sometimes instead of going like to a bait that really telegraphs itself a lot with noise and vibration to a quiet bait like a jig or Senko, sometimes all you have to do is change the lure profile. Now the lure profile can be something bigger or smaller. It doesn't necessarily mean if a bass is getting conditioned to a lure that you have to downsize because they're more finicky. Sometimes, let's say for example, if you're throwing a 3-inch long crankbait, go to a crankbait that's 1.5 inches long, or a crankbait that's 3.5 inches long, or 3 inches long. And sometimes just that, different presence within the same, place is going to generate the strike. So one of the things you have to remember when you're dealing with bass that are conditioned to lures is they're watching your lure go by. It's like, if you're on an area like I was down there at Lake Wheeler, I know when I made that cast that there were bass looking at my lure. But again, they're not stupid. They haven't survived here on this planet as long as they've been here by being stupid. So just mix it up a little bit. Try to give them a different look, something they haven't seen. Different angle of presentation sometimes works. And try to stay away from those lures that are really, really popular. It's like certain lures out there, they get notoriety for being, super, super hot for a short period of time, and everybody throws them. I remember back when the Alabama rig came out, guys, or even the Whopper Plopper. You'd go down to Table Rock Lake at the height of when those things were really hot. Every single boat on the lake would have one on. You'd see a dang umbrella rig getting thrown by everybody, or a Whopper Plopper during a certain time of the year. Everybody would be throwing that Whopper Plopper. So fish are smart. They wise up real quick, and you just have to be aware of that and make some adjustments. So main thing, guys, that I'll give you is, like I said, either change the lure category completely or change your color and your profile size, and that usually gets you where you can keep catching fish. So hope it helps out. We'll talk later.